Hello and welcome. And today I want to say hello and welcome to Dr. Sims's class. As part of getting you ready for Dr. Sim's class and understanding how it works, it's very important that you understand the rules and routines that go on that make class successful. I'd like to start off with an introduction and tell you about the concept of rules and procedures. Our rules and procedures are fundamental in life. We follow rules and procedures in our daily lives for things such as approaching a traffic light, starting a car and driving, and even making a letter. There are also rules and procedures in this classroom. These rules and procedures ensure a positive atmosphere in the classroom. They contribute to a controlled learning environment that helps everyone. So I'll go ahead and begin. I like to simplify classroom rules into 5 rules. Below is a list of classroom rules that I use in my classroom. Please look them over and be sure to tell me if there's anything that seems unreasonable as you look at these rules. And I'll begin by discussing them. Number 1, show respect to teachers and classmates. You respect the teacher, you do what he says, you don't talk back, do not touch his property without permission, and follow all classroom rules and procedures. You also respect your classmates when you follow classroom rules and procedures. Second one, follow directions. This means that you do what the teacher tells you to do without complaining or arguing about it. Example would be, returning books or going back to your seat when asked to politely, or copying from the board, or when someone asks you to stop talking, etc. Moving on, keep hands, feet, and objects to yourself. This means that you do not throw things, kick things, push people, hit people, or any other thing that would infringe on the rights and freedoms of anybody near you. The next one, do not leave your seat without permission, which is pretty self-explanatory. And if you do want to leave your seat without permission, that is, it's best that you raise your hand before you speak, which is our last rule, because raising our hands before I speak helps ensure that everybody's on the same page. Now, that covers my classroom rules, and let's talk about some of the procedures that go on in the everyday life of the classroom, beginning with the procedure for entering the classroom. Now, there's a specific way that I want you to enter the classroom. I expect you to follow these procedures. Begin with first, understanding that you are not to stand or wait around in the hallway. You must enter the classroom quietly without running or pushing. Sharpen all pencils and gather all materials needed to prepare for class. This should be taken care of within the first 2 to 3 minutes of class, not any time afterwards. Number 4, you'll want to take your assigned seat and complete the query of the day, which may be bell work. And this may be included on the board or somewhere on your notebook, but you'll want to complete this in your notebook. Next, you'll want to work quietly and by yourself and wait for further instruction from the teacher upon completing your assignment of the query of the day. So to recap, you should come in quietly. Make sure that you have pencils sharpened within the first 2 to 3 minutes. Take your assigned seat and complete the query of the day and wait quietly when you complete this query of the day bell work assignment. If you are late, first you want to walk in quietly, making as little noise as possible. Second, you want to sign in at the tardy sheet, being sure to include your name, date, and time. If you have a pass, you'll want to leave this in the folder next to the tardy sheet. Number 3, you'll take your assigned seat. Number 4, you'll join the activity in progress, and if you don't know what the class is doing, you'll want to raise your hand until the teacher sees you. And number 5, you want to continue working or waiting quietly until I get to your desk if you are late. just to make sure that we're on the same page, you are late to class if you are not inside the classroom in your seat when the bell rings. If you are late to class, these are the rules that you want to adhere to. If you are absent, you'll want to join the activity in progress for that day. If you do not know what to do, you'll want to raise your hand and wait until I reach you. During the last 5 minutes of class, you may copy the missing activities and bell work from a responsible classmate. If you need to make up a test, you must make arrangements with the teacher during the last 5 minutes of class, not at the beginning, at the last 5 minutes of class. And tests can only be made up either before school or during lunch, and only if previous arrangements have been made. Now, it is your responsibility to make up any assignments or tests in a timely manner when you return from an absence. The list of items that I provided is the procedures that you'll want to follow if you are absent. So to recap, you'll want to make sure that you join the activity in progress. Ask about any missing assignments or get caught up on any missing assignments within the last 5 minutes of class. And if you need to make up a test, you need to make up this test either before school or during lunch, only following after previous arrangements have been made. Turning in assignments. Now, I will sometimes collect homework, sometimes collect group work, and even individual work. So you want to make sure that all of your assignments have your full name, that's first and last name. They must have the period number and they must have the date. If they are missing any of these items, there's a potential for item point deductions. It's very important that you label the work that you turned in. Lastly, you'll also be required to complete online assignments using Moodle, or in some cases, via the smart response devices that I'll introduce you to later. Getting your attention. There will be times when I may need to get everyone's undivided attention, so that I may give directions, explanations, answer group questions, or if the noise level gets too loud. I'll begin cutting down when this happens, and when I begin counting down, you should definitely stop what you're doing and locate a seat, stop talking and look at me, and wait for me to speak and listen. I assure that this should make sure that everybody gets the proper information that they need for us to proceed in a healthy way. Now, when we have a visitor, you are expected to be polite to the visitor. This means that when they come in the classroom, you're expected to follow pretty much the classroom procedures that we already have. You want to be polite. You definitely do not want to talk to the visitor unless he or she is talking to you directly. You want to continue working on your assignment as usual. If the visitor needs to speak to me privately, I expect that you remain in your seat without talking until I finish speaking with the visitor. At the end of class and class dismissal, I have a very strict guideline for leaving class. I believe that it is the teacher who dismisses the class and not the bell. Therefore, before the bell rings, everyone should be assigned in the assigned seat, be quiet, have the materials gathered, and wait for the teacher to dismiss the class. Now, when you finish early, or if you finish early, you have a few options. If you finish your assignment, you may either read independently, work on an assignment for another class, or work on class homework. In all cases, you are not to talk or disturb others because they might be trying to complete the same assignment and their talking would cause disruptions to others. Lastly, restroom policy. You'll be allowed to go to the restroom only if you have finished all of your assigned work, the class is working on individual seat work, you have not abused this privilege in the past. It's very important that you understand the rules for the restroom policy, because Restroom policy can be healthy. However, when abused, they can be disruptive to the learning process of others. So it's very important that you ask to use the restroom after the you have completed your assigned work and only when you are completing individual seat work. It is not usually an ideal time to interrupt a lecture or 15-minute talk given by the instructor. So you'll want to remember that. Now, of course, we talk about all these rules. There's always a consequence of that, and everything we do in life has consequences. If you choose to run a red light, you must accept the consequences that come with it. Traffic ticket, taking someone's life, crashing a car, etc. Consequences are the things that happen to you when you choose not to obey a rule. This is what will happen if you choose to violate one of the classroom rules. I must say that in some cases there are events that happen that result in consequences that you may feel are unfair. I want you to be able to tell me that, but it's important that you are able to do that in a positive and effective way. I suggest that you begin by stating that I'm not sure that's fair, and then present your case. That being said, these are the general consequences for the violation of rules. First offense is a verbal warning. Second offense, a written warning requiring a parent signature or a phone call home. And lastly, the third offense is a detention or assigned module. Now, that completes our information regarding the rules and procedures. And hopefully I've shed new light on you about the classroom and the expectations. So with that, if you have questions, please feel free to ask your instructor. And thank you.